Oh, good morning, beloveds. You can see the ear. Dante's being as usual well, there's no such thing as overly affectionate in a cat. But, yeah. Okay. And now he's gone. Well, not really. He's leaned on the corner. Now he's gone. So he stopped, leaned his hip on the corner with his tail kind of curled. It's cute. It's a cat. Okay, we are doing Hidden Power of the Bible. Let's do the housekeeping. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. Each one email a week tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. So, click here now means it. It also is a blind CC, so nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. And I will mention the social media merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize the social media. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you instead to go like, subscribe, follow, based on which platform you're on, and then engage with the individual post by reacting, commenting, and sharing. Bumps us in the algorithms, more people see our stuff, which is the whole goal of social media, right? So we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, and I am running Rev Ryan across all of the social medias that I am on. So that should be that. Okay. I don't know what today's going to look like, because the introduction to this section, I guess this is technically a new section. It's the introduction is short, and then there's just like a couple of articles. So let's get in with it and see what happens here. Okay, so this is from the Hidden Power of the Bible is Ernest going and picking some selections from the Bible that he thinks are very relevant that have things to teach us today. Okay, so that's what this is. So we are still in the Hebrew Testament, obviously, because Moses is in the Hebrew Testament, and this is from the teachings of Moses, the great lawgiver. And Moses was the great lawgiver, and today our code of laws is based largely upon the principles which he announced. This is because he taught a universal law, an eternal verity which remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. Okay. Moses taught the universal law of cause and effect, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It remained for Jesus to teach a God of love and understanding. The teachings of Jesus complete those of Moses. Taken together, they reveal the universal presence of law and the universal necessity taken together, they reveal the universal presence of love and the universal necessity of law. That's what I'm trying to say. In the 20th chapter of Exodus, we find the law of Moses given in a concise manner. These laws are fundamental and need no defining other than to remark how completely they are based upon the idea that God is a present reality. In the 23rd chapter, we find a statement that God will heal disease when we trust in God's presence. And in the 26th chapter of Leviticus, we find these words: "And I will set my tabernacle among you, and I will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people." Okay, so that is, and then so this next are obviously from his, and there's three, and so I'm going to go ahead and do the divine presence today. We will do the blessing and the curse tomorrow, and we will do the words in our own mouth, which is really short, the last day. So, the divine presence. If there is anything necessary to an individual's sense of security, peace of mind, and satisfaction of the soul, it is, greater than all else, a sense of the divine presence, a realization that there is a power which knows, cares, and understands. Without this sense of security, we feel lost. It makes no difference how loudly the materialist may shout or in what language they speak. The merely intellectual may disclaim all divine revelation and spiritual guidance, but to the pure in heart and to the childlike mind, there will forever be vouchsafed this sense of certainty. This is not an illusion, nor is it an intellectual weakness. It is a spiritual experience. And just as we have physical experiences, so may we have spiritual ones. Moses sensed the divine presence and must have lived very close to it. In the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." Here is a perception of the unity of good, a realization of the one life running through all. God is one. This is the teaching of Moses. We are to love this one with all our heart and with all our soul and with all our might. We are to completely surrender ourselves to the realization of the unity of good, the presence of God. We are to trust this God and rely solely upon its presence in every experience. I like how he says surrender ourselves completely to the realization of. It hits a little differently than surrendering ourselves to God, which is what he's asking us to do anyway. But the realization it's that recognition. It's about understanding that there is something bigger than us and being grateful for that. We are to so completely sense the presence that the heart will respond and the emotions acquiesce. Without such an emotional agreement, words are empty and ideals void of real meaning. Emerson tells us that when this divine moment comes, we are to leave everything else and flee into its loving embrace. That's interesting. And that is kind of what that mystic moment is. Because when you have those mystic moments, there isn't really anything else you can do. Like, you are so caught up in it that that's all you can do, is just ride the experience. Moses tells us that we are to teach the knowledge of God to our children and to talk about God when we sit in our houses and when we walk by the way. We are to see the evidence of spirit manifested in everything, which some days is more challenging than others, and in some things is more challenging than others, but that is the assignment. The God of the living, who lives in all and through all. We are not to go after other gods, as do those who have not put their trust in good alone, but we are to trust and not be afraid. In the 7th chapter of the same book, we are told that God will bless and multiply our benefits if we keep God's laws. Moses enumerated the different ways in which this blessing will be made manifest. In all that we do. Jesus, speaking many years later, tells the same story when he says to seek the kingdom first and other things will be added. How true this teaching is. The greater always includes the lesser, and all the lessers must be included in the infinite mind. And Dante just tore in and tore back out. All I heard was and saw the flash. In the 8th chapter of Deuteronomy, we are warned against thinking that we can, of ourselves and without divine aid, accomplish. In the day of accomplishment, we are not to forget that we are beneficiaries of life. How soon must that light be extinguished, which is no longer connected with the center of energy? This is the universal truth and should be heeded. We are not to suppose that God is jealous, but we are to realize that unity is unity. We live on 3 planes simultaneously, which, if you're curious about that, you could check with Reverend Dana Vogt. She has this teaching that she got from Reverend Tom Sanar that really explains the 3 planes of existence really nicely. As an apartment complex, it's really good. You can ask her about it. Okay, so we live on 3 planes simultaneously: spirit, soul, body, and our thought and belief decide what is to happen to us. It makes all the difference in the world where we place our trust and faith. God is not jealous, but the law is one and cannot be divided. I like that he keeps saying God is not jealous. And I would say that because Ernest has made that mention about chasing other gods, okay? And here's the argument that I would make about chasing other gods, because they aren't complete. One of my, I'm going to call it a belief, and I'm going to call it an opinion, philosophy, which is all an opinion, which is all an opinion. That's what philosophy is. It's somebody's opinion. Okay. There aren't multiple gods. There's only one, right? But the problem is this God is everything. And our minds cannot encompass that. So that means that all of the gods that you have seen all over the world aren't individual gods. They're simply aspects of the one God. And it's because our minds can't encompass the whole thing that we needed this little part at this time. We needed this one aspect, so we gave it a name. So what Moses is telling us is don't go chasing the parts of God. Chase the whole thing. So, that's how we can, that's how I deal with that. That's how I deal with the multiple, you go anywhere and see, like the Greeks and the Romans had gods. The Hindus have hundreds of gods, except for the fact that they acknowledge that there's only one God. There's Brahma. And every other little god that you have ever heard of is simply a part of Brahma. So that's what Moses is telling us, is don't go chasing other gods. Because you're not chasing the whole thing. You're chasing a part. So that's why God doesn't have to be jealous. In the end, you are still chasing God. You're just not chasing the unity of the whole. You're chasing an aspect. And that just gives me an idea for a talk. So I'm going to go make a note of that. And I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a dance in the rain if you get it day, but stay out of the thunderstorms day if you get those. We're getting isolated thunderstorms right now because it's so hot. A be aware of the heat day, a drink plenty of water day, a do something fun day, a you got this day. I probably started with that, but that's okay because you can hear it all you want. Cuddle your fur babies day. Don't forget to turn the light on day. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. Comparison is the thief of joy. And, as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godling. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. And from there, anything is possible. I forgot what I was going to say. And it's not like I don't say it every day. Anything is possible. Because all the divine knows is good. All right, beloveds. I'm going to move on to the process of my day. So I'm going to remind you that Reverend David will be on sometime this afternoon. I will be back with you in that 9:15 space. So take care of yourself. Know that